Oyexigbuk, Delawasi Connor, Delaway, Waysogapa. Good morning. My name is Connor. I'm from Waysogapa First Nation in Nova Scotia. I'm making this video today because I have become extremely worried about our treaty rights, and handing that down to our children in regards to Bill C-31 and where our leadership is currently at finding solutions on either repealing Bill C-31, implementing a single parent rule so that one parent with status can transfer that treaty onto the child. Because the issue, of course, is with the second generation cutoff. If you are a 6'2" and have a child with a non-status person, your children will not have status. That would be my situation. I am a 6'2". My children will not have status. They are still an Indigenous person, and they still face the exact same challenges that Indigenous people do today, but they will no longer have the support and programming, education, housing, health that we do today. This is a growing concern across all of Canada, all of our First Nations, all of our bands, because this is going to be a very large loss in funding from ISK for our bands. We are going to be losing membership because, like, our grandparents are part of very large families. Our population is an older population. Our grandparents come from families of like 10 to 12 brothers. That means we're going to be losing many treaties as they pass away, and we're not going to be gaining membership within our band, and we are going to lose a substantial amount of funding, possibly tens of millions of dollars over the next coming years. And with this, 6'2s, which make up 41% of our band membership, I heard in one of my counselor's speeches that, I don't know where this number comes from, I don't know if it's exact, but if it's true, it's incredible. 81% of our 6'2s are actually having children that are non-status, and that's because they never had a child with another status holder. So that's 80% of those treaties gone. The 6'1s and 6'2s that live on reserve today, they will have children, their children will have children, and they'll still be on reserve. So we're going to have a growing number of First Nations on reserve that will have the least amount of support they have ever had. This is going to impact the nation massively. I want to ensure that our leaders are doing everything within their power to come up with a new bill, repeal Bill C-31. I haven't seen anything on this lately, so I think us, the people, our voices need to be heard. We need to guide our leaders into fighting for what is right. This isn't going to be easy. Canada would not want to implement a new bill, as this could mean an increase of probably 300,000 status, an increase in membership, and an increase in funding from ISK to the nation, which is something Canada does not want. That's why it's called a fight. Fight is not easy. We are fighting for our culture, our heritage, our treaty, our children's rights. We fight for treaty today for different rights in different areas, but these fights will not matter if we are not handing treaty down to our youth. Our leaders, I would like to know exactly where they are at in the repeal process, possible lawsuits against Canada, because Canada has been discriminating against First Nations women. First Nations women have the freedom of choice. They should not have to choose who they have children with, and if they do, their children may lose the treaty right and their status. This is a violation of their Constitution and the Women's Charter of Rights and Freedoms. This is unconstitutional. Now, I haven't seen many solutions. I think our leadership should be sharing this with all of our membership on how to maintain status or convert our non-status children back to status. I do have a couple solutions currently while we wait for a new bill, some other framework. So one of the options is, as a 6'2", we can reapply under application at ISK. You have to reaffirm your biological parents. And when you fill out this application, you're going to be submitting it under protest. Protest against, I think, the violation of women's freedom of choice. That we don't stand for this bill. It is unconstitutional. It's a violation of our rights. Just because of this bill does not mean we are no longer treaty people. It is our right. There's another option, like where I'm a 6'2", my mom is a 6'1", my children will be non-status. There is the option for customary adoption. My mother, which would be their grandmother, can adopt my children and give them status. This process takes about 2 years, but it is currently an option to start adding to our membership so we don't lose a massive amount of funding over coming years. Because with those deaths in our communities and the lack of new membership, we are set to lose tens of millions of dollars in program support. It is going to be a very tough time for our First Nations. So I've been in chats with Lou Moody. He's from out west. He's a First Nations. He is worried about his grandchildren. He's been doing some extensive work with this, and especially with helping non-status regain their status. He's been helping his band. He's been helping anyone close to him. He's reaching out to the public. He's looking for support to build and file a lawsuit against Canada. This is something I support. I will share his videos too. He has videos on assisting members in actually regaining their status or transferring their status, but I think this needs to be on the forefront of all of our leadership's minds, and it needs to be absolute priority. And if it's not, it is on us, the people, to use our voices to make sure they are heard, because we are feeding into the further genocide of our people. This is not okay. It is time to stand up against Canada, maintain our treaty rights, our culture, and our heritage. Thank you. Well, the Maltas.